In addition to schema-based constraint, we have other types of constraints. Okay. In the previous class, we discussed about schema-based constraints like domain constraint, key constraint, entity integrity constraint, referential integrity constraint. Domain constraint states that the value of attribute must be atomic in nature. When I say atomic, the value is not further divisible. Key constraint states that two tuples in a relation must not be same. That means all the tuples in a relation must be distinct in nature. So for that, we introduce new constraint called key constraint. So when I say the attribute is a key attribute, that means the value in that attribute must be distinct in nature always. So there we discuss the concepts like key, super key, candidate key, primary key. Yes or no? So single attribute or combination of attribute which is unique in nature that we call as a key attribute. Super key is nothing but set of attribute including the minimal key which uniquely identifies each tuple in a relation is called as a super key. Super key always includes minimal key. Next, we discussed the candidate key. In the design phase, there can be a two or more attributes of a particular entity having the uniqueness property. Two or more attributes of a particular entity having the uniqueness property. So, each attribute which is having the uniqueness property, we called it as a candidate key. Example I told, department if you take, department number is one candidate key, department name is another candidate key. Individually, they both are having uniqueness property. I'm not saying combination, individually. Okay, individually they have the uniqueness property. When we come to the implementation phase, there is only one place for the key attribute. Okay, that is one among the candidate key has to be selected as a key attribute when we come to the implementation phase, coding. So that is primary key. We call it as a primary key. Primary key is actually the constraints on the attribute. When I say primary key, the attribute which is called as primary key or which on which the primary key constraint is enforced, it will be having the property like the attribute values must be unique and not null. Okay. So next constraint we discussed is entity integrity constraint. Entity integrity constraint says that no primary key value can have null values. No primary key values can have null values. That means the attribute on which the primary key is enforced, the value should not be null. Okay, must not be null. Then we discussed about referential integrity constraint. Referential integrity constraint always associate two or more relation. The link between the relations are enforced by referential integrity constraint. This referential integrity constraint is enforced by using foreign key. So here, whenever we are using foreign key, two things we should remember, that is the two tables which are associated or linked through an attribute, both the attributes must have same domain as well as the referencing attribute or referencing table always should refer to the existing value of an attribute of referenced table. So other than this schema based constraint, we have other type of constraints, that is semantic based constraint, functional dependency constraint, state constraint, transition constraint. Okay, semantic based constraint. Semantic based constraint means it is obvious that in an organization, an employee salary must not exceed the salary of the manager. Right? Okay, manager is the high post. Employees will be under the manager. So employee salary must not exceed the manager salary. That we have to enforce in the DBMS. So for that kind of constraint, we called as a semantic based constraint. How we can enforce this type of constraint on the DBMS values or database values? By using a triggers, okay, assertion, so on. Okay, by using the mechanism like triggers, assertions, okay, such things. Then next we have functional dependency constraint. Functional dependency constraint makes sure that each attribute values or each attribute value is identified by the one particular attribute. Say for example, when I say student relation, in a student relation, we'll be having a, let me take one example. We have a student relation. In a student relation, so usually we write the relation in a uppercase. Student relation, we have name, USN, okay, USN. I'll take USN in different color. USN, then semester. Like this we have, let us consider we have the attributes. Okay, we have attributes. Now here we have USN, okay, as a key attribute. Let us say USN is a key attribute, okay, which is underlined. So student relation having attributes name, USN, semester, where USN is a key attribute. Now there is a relationship among this attribute. That means when I have the USN value, I can identify or automatically I can fetch the corresponding value of that USN, corresponding other attribute values of that USN, that is name and semester. That means what? If I know USN, okay, I can automatically fetch the name as well as the semester of that particular record, okay, of that particular student entity. Fine. Okay. So if I know the USN, I can fetch the name. Yes or no? I can fetch the semester from the database. So USN will be like identifying attribute of a remaining attributes. Okay. So these are the other attributes. So through USN number, I can also connect the other attributes like name and semester. Next, we have state constraint. State constraint defines that the constraint that a valid state of the database must satisfy. That means that all the constraints or all the data in the database must satisfy the constraint defined on that relation or defined on that attributes of a relation. So what are state constraint? Whatever we discussed previously, the domain constraint, key constraint, entity integrity constraint, referential integrity constraint, like that. Next is transition constraint. Transition itself tells us changes. Okay, transition. So it deals with the state changes in the database. State change, that means what? The database state will be changing. Okay, database state will be changing. Say for example, semester of the students will be changing every 6 months. Yes or no? Okay, that means what? State change. Every after every semester the students will be promoted. So initially when he has admitted to the college, he will be in first semester, then he will be promoted to second semester, then will be promoted to third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, like that. Yes or no? Okay, so that kind of constraint we have to promote. So once the student is passed in the subject, okay, he do not have more than 5 backlogs, okay, in that particular academic year, then he is eligible to the next semester. Yes or no? Next academic year, like that. So he will be promoted. He or she will be promoted to the next semester. So like that, and the salary of an employee can only increase. Such type of, okay, constraint which will be where the database state will keep on changing, that constraints we call it as a transition constraint. Okay, such constraint typically enforced by the application programs or specified using active rules and triggers. Okay, so state transition changes. Okay, state transition constraint will be enforced through application program or through the rules, active rules and triggers. Next, we move on to another topic called update operation on relation. Okay, update operation on relation. The operations of the relational model can be categorized into retrievals and updates. Okay, retrievals and updates. What is retrieval? Accessing the data from the database called as a retrieval operation. Okay, how I can retrieve the data from the database? By using a SQL statement called select star from table name. Select star from table name, we can retrieve the data from the database, right? Okay, another type of operation is called as the update operation. So when I say update operation, don't misunderstand here the update command. Okay, don't misunderstand here with the update command. Here we have the update operations. Update operations means here three commands will come under it. Okay, one is insert command, delete command and update command. Okay, so here the basic update operation of the relational model are insert, delete, update. Okay, these are the three update operation. Please, once again I am telling that update operation means don't misunderstand with only with the update command. Here I am talking with respect to relational model concept. Relational model concept, that means it will be having, okay, three update operations. One is insert operation, delete operation, update operation. Okay, all integrity constraints specified on the database schema should not be violated by the update operation. Say for example, when I insert the values into the database, okay, my insert operation should not change the or should not change the state of the database. It should be always in the valid state. Okay, that means what? When the database state will become invalid, when the database have the invalid values, that means it is not satisfying the constraint, it is violating some of the rules, okay, some of the constraints defined on that particular data. That time it will be violating the, okay, violating the constraint. So when I perform any insert operation or delete operation or update operation, my valid state of the database must not be disturbed. Okay, always the database state should be in the valid state. Okay, say for example, what is invalid state means? Say for example, I have defined the constraint on the attribute semester, saying that semester should be integer value, and I'll put one more constraint called check constraint, saying that the values entered for the semester should be between 1 to 8. Okay, so when I insert the value to the student relation which is having the semester attribute, that time if I trying to insert a character value and the DBMS is accepting that, that means what? It is violating the constraint. Okay, it is violating the constraint that I have told the DBMS to take only integer value, but it is accepting the character value also. That time it is violating the constraint. Okay, so there are several update operation may have to be grouped together. Okay, updates may propagate to cause other updates automatically. Okay, they may be necessary to maintain integrity constraint. So here, in case of integrity violation, several actions can be taken. So suppose when I am performing the insertion operation, okay, insertion operation, I may violate, okay, insertion operation may violate some of the violate the constraints. Okay, it may violate the constraint. That time I can tell the, or I can enforce the DBMS to take some action. What is that? The operation which is causing the violation can be rejected. Okay, it can be rejected or it can be restricted from doing it. Okay, by cancelling the operation. That means we can make or instruct the DBMS to cancel that operation. Okay, which is inserting the data value. Okay, say for example, I have here, let me take this text box and tell you. So now I have a student relation. Okay, student relation. I have name, USN, okay, semester. What is the constraint on semester? I told semester must be integer. Yes or no? I told semester must be integer. So this is must be, this semester value must be integer. And I'll put one more constraint saying that the value should be 1 to 8. Okay, the value should be 1 to 8. Right. So suppose if I am inserting the values like this. Okay, inserting the values into the student table. Okay, so insert into student, okay, values, name I just give A, okay, USN I just give 21, okay, in thinking it is a character, okay, and semester if I give ONE, first semester I just give first. First, if I am trying to enter this, hope you are understanding. Into the student relation, I am trying to enter the value A to the name, 21 to USN, and first to semester. Okay, first to semester. So what is this? Semester I have defined as what? Int. Okay, and I have told it should be 1 to 8, integer values only. Okay, but what I am doing, I am performing the insert operation and I am entering the values like this. Okay, A into the name attribute, 21 into the USN attribute, and first into the semester attribute. What is happening here? Here, the insertion operation which I am performing now is trying to violate the database state. Yes or no? It is trying to violate the constraint. What the constraint? That semester must be integer and it should have the value 1 to 8. So it is violating the constraint. So what should I make the DBMS? What instruction I should tell the DBMS? That cancel the operation. That means what? Don't allow this insertion operation to happen on the student relation. Okay, that means it will stop this insertion operation by displaying the error message. Okay, so another thing is that we can just perform, if it is the parent and child tables, then we can go for cascade or sentinel option. Okay, then otherwise execute user specified error correction routine. Okay, like this some of the actions we can perform when the update operation is violating the constraint. Hope it is clear for you. I just taken an example and tell you. So first we will discuss about one of the update operation is called insert operation. Okay, insert operation. So when I perform the insert operation on the database, okay, there can be a chance that my 4 different constraints will get violated. Okay, what is that? First one is when I am performing the insert operation, there may be a chance that I may violate the domain constraint, I may violate the key constraint, I may violate the referential integrity constraint, I may violate the entity integrity constraint. Any of these constraints can be violated when we are performing the insert operation. Let us say domain constraint. Domain constraint, just I gave you the example. Semester I have defined using the data type integer. But when I am trying to insert character value to the semester, what I am doing? I am violating the domain constraint. What is the domain of the semester? Integer. Yes or no? I am trying to violate the domain constraint. Clear? Key constraint. What is key constraint? Key constraint is that no two tuples should be same. Yes or no? No two tuples should be same. For example, I have defined USN as a key constraint. Okay, USN as a key attribute. Okay, now when I define USN as a key attribute, DBMS is very clear that it should not allow the duplicate values. When I am performing the insert operation, if I am trying to enter a duplicate value against the USN attribute, okay, USN attribute, that time the DBMS will revert it, okay, with the error message that duplicate values. Okay, that means it can violate the key constraint. Okay, it can violate the key constraint. That means while inserting the values, we may insert the duplicate values. Referential integrity constraint. Referential integrity constraint means what? When I am entering the value into the child table, when I enter the value into the child table, okay, that time I may enter the value which is not existing in the attribute of a parent table. Okay, I may enter the value which is not existing in the attribute of the parent table. Say for example, there is a department, only 3 department, department 1, department 2, department 3. But when I am performing the insert operation in the student table which is related to department table, if I am entering the department value 4 which is not there in the department, then we are violating the referential integrity constraint. Okay, next, the insertion operation can also violate, okay, it may also violate entity integrity constraint. What that entity integrity constraint says that primary key value should not be entered null. Yes or no? Primary key value should not be null. So what is that? When I am inserting the values, okay, to the attribute which I have defined as primary key, okay, on which I have defined as primary key constraint, I should not enter the null values. Suppose if I am trying to enter the null values, that means what? I am going to violate the entity integrity constraint. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, when I am wrongly entering the value, okay, wrongly entering the value not according to the data type, okay, that means domain constraint violation. I am violating the domain constraint. Okay, I have defined the data type, okay, but I am trying to enter the value which is not of the same data type, that is domain constraint violation. When I am entering the duplicate values to which the attribute is defined as key attribute, it is key constraint violation. When I am entering the value to a child table attribute which is not existing in the parent table attribute, then I am violating referential integrity constraint. When I am entering the null value to the attribute which I have defined as a primary key, then I am violating the entity integrity constraint. So remember that insertion operation can violate all 4 schema based constraints, that is domain constraint, key constraint, referential integrity constraint and entity integrity constraint. Okay, so I hope I request all of you to note down this 2 table with the values employee and the department. Okay, employee and the department. In the coming slides, we will discuss with an example which type of constraint the current operation is violating. So here we have, you can just make it full screen and can visualize bigger. Okay, you can easily understand. Employee table is having following set of tuples and department table is having following set of tuples. We have department research department, administrator department, and we have the headquarters department. Okay, research department, administrative department and headquarters department. So research department number is actually 5. Okay, it is 5. Research department actually is 5 and administrative department is 4. Okay, and headquarters department is 1. Department number is 1. You can just refer, okay, to this table. Let us consider this operation. Insert, okay, this following set of values into employee. Okay, insert, okay, here you can see that we have first name, middle name, last name, SSN, birth date, address, okay, then gender, salary, then we have the super SSN, that means supervisor of this particular employee John, okay, then the department number to which this John will belong to. So all these are the attributes of a relation employee. So the result should be, I have given animation, but here it is not working. Okay, that's why the answer is also displayed directly. So when I insert the value, okay, we know S Joseph null 198645 number 129, all this I am entering, okay, into the employee table. Okay, so after the name, first, middle, last name, I have null here. Okay, null here. What is happening here? I am entering the null values into the SSN, which is defined as a primary key. Which is defined as a primary key. I have defined SSN as primary key. You can just see here 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth value, attribute value, I am entering null, which is SSN, which is a primary key. So what type of constraint it is violating? What type of constraint it is violating? We have 4 schema based constraint, right? Domain constraint, key constraint, entity integrity constraint, referential integrity constraint. Here for primary key, we are putting the null value. So what type of constraint it is violating? It is violating entity integrity constraint. What is this IC means? IC is integrity constraint. Okay. So it will violate entity integrity constraint. Clear? Okay. So this operation violates entity integrity constraint. So it is rejected. Okay. Rejected. What is this rejected? It is rejected. It is written here, it is rejected. That means what? When the particular operation is, okay, when the particular operation is violating the constraint, okay, the actions can be taken. Okay, the DBMS can take the action. What action the DBMS can take? It can reject. Okay, it can restrict. Okay, restrict the user or application from doing such operation. Okay, or it can reject that operation to be performed on the database. Okay, it can reject the operation. Clear? Okay, it can reject that operation. Next, what is there? We are again, so you can see here all operation are insert operation only here. Okay, all operation are insert. Let us go to the second example. Insert Alice J. Okay, Zelaya. Then we have a number here. All this it is there. Okay. So here what is happening here? We are entering 999884777. So it is saying that it is violating the key constraint. Let me see how where it is violating the constraint. Okay, so if you see here, we have the same SSN number. Already the same SSN number is existing. Okay, 9998847s. Okay, 9998847s. Already, okay, it is existing. Okay, so what is happening? Duplicate values on the key attribute. That means what it is violating? Key constraint. Okay, it is violating the key constraint. Next operation, insert, okay, this values into the employee. So here we have the department number. Last is the department number. Okay, last is the department number. So if you see the department number, this will be referring to this department number attribute. Okay, the department number of employee, the department number of employee refers to the values of department number of the department. Okay, so they are connected, they are logically connected. So we would have done using the foreign key this. Okay, foreign keys is. So what is happening here? When I define the foreign key, the child table, which is child table here, child table is employee, it should refer only to those value which is existing in the attribute of a parent table. So here we have only values 541, but we are trying to enter the value 7. So which integrity constraint it is violating? Referential integrity constraint. Okay, it is violating referential integrity constraint. So what is the action taken by the DBMS? This operation is rejected. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, this operation is rejected. So next we have delete operation. So I told you about the insert operation. Now we have a delete operation. So delete operation usually it violates the referential integrity constraint. Insertion operation will violate all four constraints: domain, key, entity, referential integrity. Okay, whereas delete operation it will violate only a referential integrity constraint. Okay, referential integrity constraint. So what is that? If the primary key value of the tuple being deleted is referenced by other tuple in the database, then this violation will happen. I'll show you this example. Here, as I told, the department number attribute of employee will be referring to department number of the department. Suppose if I try to delete this, if I try to delete this, okay, if I try to delete this, okay, the DBMS actually should not allow us to delete this headquarters department from the department table. Why? Because there are some tuples in the employee table which is the child of the department is referring to this value. Yes or no? So what happens here when I delete this? This will be like invalid tuple. Yes or no? Because this employee is in department number 1 which is not existing at all. Okay, it is not existing at all, so it will become a invalid. Okay, it will become a invalid state. So what we have to do, that we should instruct the DBMS that when the parent table tuples are deleted, so parent table tuples are deleted, it has to make sure that in the child table that value is not referred. Clear? Okay, when we are deleting the value from the parent table, we have to make sure that the child table which is referring this value, okay, is not having that deleting value. Okay, so here what happens here, I am deleting here. So automatically it has to take some action. What action it can take? First, it can reject this operation, delete operation from happening it. Yes or no? It can reject this. Otherwise, what happened? In the lab, I explained you some referential trigger actions. You remember? Cascade, set null. Okay. Cascade, set null, set default, restrict. First, it can restrict from deleting this row. Otherwise, cascade, when I delete, automatically this row is also get deleted in the employee table. Or when I delete this get set to null value. Or when I delete this, it will get to set to default value. Okay, default value. Like this, these actions I can take when I am performing the, okay, when I am performing the delete operation. Okay, so when I am performing the delete operation, this actions I can take. Restrict from the deletion, don't allow to delete. Okay, otherwise cascade, when I delete in the parent table, automatically get deleted in the child table. Okay, so but I have to preserve the employee data. Okay, the when the department is got deleted, I cannot send out the employees also, right? I have to preserve them, I have to save them. Okay, so in that case, say for example, the college has closed some branch. That means that the students also should be sent out. No, I can just put the students to the other branches which is relevant to the branch. Yes or no? Okay, so if electrical is closed, then I can put the electrical students to electronics branch, which is almost the subjects are same, like that. So as I can just set the value as null time being, or I can just put the set default value. These are the some of the actions I can take when I perform the delete operation. So here you can just take down this works on table values, or you can observe it. In the next slide, we'll see the example. So we have a operation, first operation, delete the works on tuple with ESSN 9998877 and P number 10. Okay, delete the works on tuple. Works on tuple. I am deleting. Here if you observe here, okay, if you observe here, we have this two ESS and P number together as a composite primary key. ESS and P number together will be the composite primary key. Okay, composite primary key. So now what is this? Now ESN is referred by SSN of employee, P number is referred by P number, project number of the project table. Okay, we will be having a project table. Okay, and we will be having an employee table. So ESSN value is referred from the employee SSN of the employee table, and P number is referred from the P number of a project table. So this works on table is a child table which will be having ESSN value from the employee and project number value from the project table. Okay, so what happens if I try to delete? Okay, when I try to delete the ESSN 9998877 and P number 10, okay, 9998887 P number 10, this, okay, when I try to delete this tuple, okay, whether it will be the DBMS will accept it or not. Yes, it will accept because I am doing it in a child table. Okay, this table is not referred by other tables. This table is actually referring. Okay, referring. So when I delete this, it will get deleted. Acceptable. Delete exactly one tuple which is having ESSN 9998847 and P number 10. Okay, it will get deleted. Let us see one more. Delete employee tuple with SSN 99988. That means what? I am performing the delete operation on the employee to which the works on table is related. Okay, to which works on table is related. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, so works on table is related. So here, when I am deleting the employee, in the works on table also, there are USN number. Yes or no? These values are referred. Okay. These values are referred in works on table. So when I delete in employee table, okay, when I delete in the employee table, what happens with this? Clear. Okay. So it is not acceptable. What it is doing, which constraint it is violating? It is violating referential integrity constraint. It is violating referential integrity constraint. So what are the actions I can take when I am violating the referential integrity constraint? I can restrict, okay, I can cascade, I can perform cascade operation, or I can perform set null operation or set default operation. Any of this thing I can do. Delete the employee tuple with SSN 333. It is also not acceptable, okay, because 333, okay, 333, 4 are already in the works on table. Say suppose I want to perform, okay, I want to perform one delete operation. Delete the employee tuple with SSN 1. Delete the employee with the SSN 1. If you see works on table, there is no SSN with the SSN number 1. This is 1, 2, 3. Okay, but I am saying SSN is equal to 1. There is no employee with the SSN number 1. Okay, that means what? It is acceptable. So if the child table is not having the value of a parent table, then if I delete in the parent table, it doesn't matter. It is acceptable. But the child table is referring to that parent table value, then I cannot perform the delete operation. Okay, so if it is trying to delete the parent table value which is referred by the child table value, then referential integrity constraint is violated. That time we can take any action like restrict, cascade, set null, set default. Hope it is clear for you. Okay, now next we have update operation. Okay, modify operation. Okay, that is update command. This actually the update command, third one. So what is this update? This like the command executing update set table name. Okay, where SSN is equal to 222. Okay, like this we can just update command. Okay, update command. So here update command, update may violate domain constraint and not null constraint on an attribute being modified. Domain constraint and primary key constraint. Update can modify these two things. Insert can violate all four constraints: domain, key, entity integrity, and next is the referential integrity. Delete command will violate only the referential integrity constraint, whereas update command will violate domain constraint and the primary key constraint, that is entity integrity constraint. Okay, entity integrity constraint. So any of the other constraint may also be violated depending on the attribute being updated. So when we are updating the primary key, okay, it may be violating. That means when I am updating, I may be updating to the duplicate value or the values which is already existing. Updating the foreign key. Updating the foreign key means what? I may be updating the value which is not existing in the parent table. Okay, updating an ordinary attribute. Okay, that means I may be violating the data type of that attribute. Okay, data type of that attribute, that is data type or size of that attribute, that I may violate the domain constraint. So these are the different violation when I perform the update operation. Okay, so update the salary of the employee tuple with SSN 99997 to 28,000. No harm. So I'm just updating the salary. Okay, so salary is integer, so it is acceptable. So update the D number of the employee tuple with SSN to department 7. There is no department 7 only, right? I told you 541. Department numbers are 541. Here 7 is there. So it is referential integrity constraint. Update the SSN, the employee tuple SSN to 999. Again, it is already this is there existing. So it is primary key violation.